Today's video is sponsored by Picker's Grip. Stop dropped picks and pick rotation while playing with Picker's Grip. Made with all natural ingredients in Virginia. Check out their website to order. When you support my sponsor, this also supports my channel, and it's very much appreciated. That's right. It's time for another edition of
Know Your Troll.
Know Your Troll. This is a video series where we recognize those individuals of the world that seem to reside below whale shit. The majority of the comments in this video series are from viewers whose IQ level seems to be just above that of the dead fern in your grandmother's living room. However, not all of the comments that I respond to in these videos are troll comments, so some of these are actual legitimate comments and questions from actual legitimate viewers who just want their question answered. But the majority of these are really stupid people, and I have absolutely no choice but to monetize their stupidity in a video. So, that being said, we got a lot of trolls to get to today. Here we go. This one's from Bill Wesley. He says, in my opinion, if you hate fuzz, it's because you don't understand what fuzz is good for. Fuzz is not very good for playing chords. It makes them diffuse, fuzzy, far away, and out of focus. Its real utility is in playing leads, specifically at high amplitude, as to develop feedback. Pounding chords flatly does not show off a fuzz, holding notes, yada yada yada. Furthermore, the lightest, most delicate playing sounds the most radical, hard play. Okay, yeah, or it could be that I just don't like the sound of fuzz pedals. That's why I hate them. I don't like the sound of them. But the fact that you seem to think you got a much firmer grip on guitar tone than the rest of us is really cute. Balaji Bala says, hi, brother. Please come to my home with your family. Please accept my invitation. Yeah, I don't see that happening, dude. This question was left on the review on the Glary guitar demo that I did a while back. From Blue Wing, he says, wait. I think I was about 2 1/4 or so when I made that video. I've had a lot of comments on the how to play guitar like Ace Frehley video here lately, and this is one of those. Carlos Manuel Gonzalez says, go to 526, he speaks too much, also he is playing it wrong. I literally played about 4 seconds of an actual Kiss riff in that video. But yeah, I was, that 4 seconds was totally wrong, totally wrong. DGM Wits says, can't call a pedal garbage if you don't dial it in correctly and as necessary. This comment is in regards to the Metal Muff video, and you can't get a usable, passable guitar tone out of a garbage guitar pedal. These next few gems are from Drew. Says, this guy's the be-all, end-all of amps. I don't care what you hang on the background of your videos, it doesn't make you credible. Almost every amp you listed can sound good in the right hands. What a waste of time. If you listen to this guy, you get what you deserve. I think we found the Tone Blaster owner. Nope, EVH actually. Nice try, chump. A good player can make a bad amp sound good. Try worrying about your chops instead, and maybe you won't struggle so much. Every amp you listed could sound good. Yet you sure went out of your way to make sure to tell me that you don't own any of them. Frank Pusateri says, short-sighted perspective on tone as usual. I would argue that I actually am very open-minded regarding guitar tone. I have a ton of different pedals that all sound wildly different from each other. I have a ton of amps that all sound wildly different from each other. And I have several guitars that all sound wildly different from each other, all of which I enjoy. But that doesn't mean that I have to like every single piece of gear that's out there. I'm allowed to have stuff I don't like, even if something on that list happens to be something that you own. Google Evil says, zero credibility for not plugging a guitar into them. Zero. Tell you what, you go spend your own money on a pile of amps that you hate, and then we'll have this conversation. How about that? Until then, you are a complete dipshit if you think that's what I'm going to do. Capiche? On the Ace Frehley video, Kiss copyright please coming after me? As in me? Don't worry, guy. Once again, I'm not going to worry because I played literally 4 seconds of a Kiss song. 4 seconds. Hey, a comment that's actually not a troll. Guitar Dudio says Dimebag's tone is instantly recognizable. I wholeheartedly agree. And one thing that I think is actually unique about, there's a certain category of guitar players who are able to achieve this, and Dimebag was one of them. And you can instantly recognize who is playing that guitar, regardless of what band that he's playing it, because Dimebag sounded like Dimebag in Pantera, Dimebag sounded like Dimebag in Rebel Meets Rebel, Dimebag sounded like Dimebag in Damage Plan, and pretty much anything else that that he may have done. I'm quite sure Dimebag sounded like Dimebag, and also some of it was the gear that he used, and he did. He was, especially at the time that he was alive and still active, the gear that he used, was kind of off the radar of most guitar players. But I think more of his uniqueness was attributed to his playing style. And I'm not talking about tone is in the hands. I'm talking about the way that he interpreted certain chords and constructed songs around them. So that might make a good video topic one day, actually. I've mentioned here in the past that I oftentimes will share my videos in various guitar groups / pedal groups on Facebook, where, groups that allow me to do so, that is. I don't spam groups that don't want, YouTube creators sharing their content in their groups, but the ones that do allow it, I oftentimes will share my videos. And one video that I shared here a couple of weeks ago, I got these two upstanding individuals commenting on, and they commented publicly, so, in a public group, so I have no problems sharing their names. Ivan Shentov says, this guy's an effing clown. Nathan Tostado says, this guy thinks the Fuzz Factory is garbage when the guitar was not even tuned. You're right. The guitar was out of tune in the Fuzz Factory video, and it was 2 years ago. And you're still butthurt over it. It's been 2 years since some dude on YouTube made fun of your beloved Fuzz Factory. It's time to move on. Speaking of the Fuzz Factory video, James Lupson commented and said, man, your responses to the comments in this video are really sad. Don't people know not to come to this channel? They expect the creator to be nice to them. I have no problem being nice to people, but when people are assholes to me, what do you think I'm going to do? Also on the Glary Guitars video, this one's from JBB. Says, I hate Burger King from the get-go, but if you gave me $70 worth of food, I would at least try to like it. Besides, there are people who can't afford to pay $300 on a hobby. They may not take two, but $60 is the price of a video game. Maybe a cheap guitar encourages someone to try. If you had already decided to hate it from the beginning, you shouldn't have bothered because it makes you seem like a big fat ass. Driving a Hyundai and driving a Cadillac are two different things, too. First of all, learn to spell Hyundai. Second of all, I did not decide from the get-go that I was going to hate that guitar. What I did was I demonstrated how it performed right out of the box. And one thing that I wanted to make sure and deliver in the video was the fact that it would not stay in tune. And I have unboxed hundreds, maybe thousands of guitars, brand new guitars, in my career. And none of them have had tuning stability issues like that one. Matter of fact, that one, I don't think it was even tuning stability issues. I think it was a matter of the gears and the tuning machines themselves being stripped out. Now, if that's the kind of guitar that you would recommend for a beginner, even at $60, I would recommend that if anybody, especially in today's world, that's when $60 doesn't go as far as it used to, if you can afford $60, you can save up a little bit more money, wait a little bit longer, and buy a $120 Squier and be much, much, much happier in the long run. Juquantero says, if you say the 6262 sucks, the problem is your shitty playing / dialing. Or maybe you've never actually played a real amp before. This one's from Kobeoth, a regular viewer and commenter. Says, Robert, if Music Man offered you a signature model, would you point to the Majesty and tell them to make you another one of those? You sing the praises of them at every opportunity. Could it be said they got so much of it right, it needs no improvement? My bucket list guitar is a Gretsch Dual Jet with the Dynasonic pickups, but I know I'd want another one with Filtertrons as well. I tried a Music Man Majesty years ago, beautifully made, not to my taste, too much of an ironmonger for me. You make it sound good though. Thank you very much. And the only, very, very possibly, while I certainly don't expect Music Man to be coming, to be knocking on my door, offering me any kind of signature deals or endorsement deals or anything like that anytime soon, if that were to happen, I would, and I don't know what their signature design requirements might be. They might, because realistically, you're absolutely right. The only thing that I would change that I would change on the Majesty is I would have it rewired so that both pickups could coil split individually, even if it's simultaneously. That'd be fine too. But right now, the way the coil splitting works on that guitar is only on the middle position. So I can get the Stevie Ray Vaughan single coil kind of tone, but if I want a bridge single coil tone or neck single coil tone, that's the one thing that it will not do. Everything else about it is, you're right. I really, really love that guitar because I think it's about as close to perfect as can be. Lukai 2 says, badass. The only thing that I'm curious about is why you deleted your original comment that you ended up replacing with this one. And, by the way, your original comment, the alert to that one, started out with this. It said, how does this fat slob have the money for all that? I'm assuming that you're talking about all the gear that I own. It's called hard work and discipline. Because every single piece of gear that you see here around me, I earned it. And I paid for it, and I own it outright. I put up a demo video here a week or so ago, and a couple of trolls decided to take it upon themselves to tell me that I'm a pretty lousy guitar player. But Mr. Michael Mitchell was kind enough to leave this comment regarding this, as he said that's a cool pedal. I like it has the contour and punch instead of the same old. I thought the track sounded pretty kick-ass, dude. Those haters that say you can't play are probably sitting home playing video games, still living at home with mommy and daddy. I wholeheartedly agree. Usually, it's, people that are, first of all, I could care less. People can trash my guitar playing all they want. I really don't care. It doesn't bother me a bit. I am well aware of my skill level and where I rank in relation to, to the rest of the guitar players in the world. I make fun of a lot of things on this channel, but you will never, ever, ever hear me take a swipe at how good or bad of a guitar player somebody else may be, because at one point in time we all sucked. There was a point in time, I've said this before, believe it or not, there was a point in time when even Eddie Van Halen sucked at playing guitar. And if you don't like Eddie Van Halen, feel free to insert the name of your favorite guitar player there, whoever that may be. So the people that are not smart enough to realize that and just have to go and point out to other people about how bad of a guitar player they may be are usually, like you said, number one, still living in their parents' basement, and number two, usually so desperate for validation that if they, that in order to find it, they have to cut down other people in order to do so, and that's really, really, really pathetic. I get a lot of those douchebags commenting on my videos. Mulligan Master says, hey, it's Baby Huey's little brother. Mulligan Master, assuming you are aware of the actual definition of mulligan, I'm going to assume you're not the best golfer in the world. Patrick Easy One says, I just will never get these onanists having the gall publishing videos themselves playing so bad guitar, exposing what is wrong with society today. Get a job at a garden center, dude. Once again, people in this world are actually allowed to suck at guitar. I personally think that I'm a pretty average, maybe even a little above average, just for how long I've been playing, as far as my skill level. But yes, I recognize there are plenty of other people out there that are far better than me, and that's okay. But here you are worrying about how bad of a guitar player I am, and you clicked the video, so that's on you, not me. Raul Page says, hey man, new subscriber here, love your videos. I got a question for you. Is signature gear always better than non-signature gear in the same price range in terms of consumer getting a quality product, etc.? In most cases, artist signature gear is usually going to be pretty good quality, and in most cases, the artist did have a fair amount of input on the design of that particular product. Now, whether or not they actually use it, in every single context of their profession, that's a different story. The truth of the matter is, some do, some don't. The Randall Warhead, for example, which was a Dimebag signature amplifier, it's pretty widely known that he really, really liked, or he didn't like it, but, he used that head for the clean sounds live, and he didn't like the gain channels on it at all. So, I'm assuming as part of his endorsement deal, obviously you had to use it to some extreme, to some extent. So he used it for the clean channel as live shows. The flip side of that is John Petrucci, and going back to my favorite Music Man Majesty guitar that I was just talking about earlier. That being a John Petrucci signature. Since that guitar came out, I don't remember the last time I saw him playing anything but one of those. Prior to that, I don't remember the last time I saw him play anything but one of the Music Man JP series guitars. Usually whatever the current model is, because there's been a bunch of them now over the years. But nowadays, you see him playing either a 6-string or a 7-string Music Man Majesty, period. So, but back to your original question. Is signature gear always better than non-signature gear in the same price range? Not necessarily, because a portion of the price tag is factored in as the artist cut. So, a part of signing a deal for a signature piece of gear with a manufacturer is, you get a certain amount of commission from the sales, among other things. But, because it's your name being on it is most of the time a big, big factor of why it's sold. You being the artist, that is. So, taking that into consideration, that's one reason why they are more expensive. Or it can be a little bit more expensive anyway than the non-signature equivalent, whatever that may be. As far as which one's better, very, very subjective. Very subjective question that can bring you a zillion different answers. So, I would venture to say, the answer to your question is yes, but could be no, depending on. Snoo Lee says, this guy is such a liar. He buys all of his dogs from a breeder for $1,000 each, and then he puts them in competitions. I think I speak for all of us here when I say, what? Steve says, this guy's a hack. He can't keep time worth of shit. On the contrary, I would venture to guess it's about 5:11 p.m. right now. Superglued says, so much incorrect information on this video. You should take it down for the sake of anyone trying to learn, because you're just going to sow confusion. One example out of many, the OCD pedal is not a distortion pedal, it's overdrive. No matter what an amp is doing, it's overdrive. Please delete the massive confusion for the kids' sake. So the OCD suddenly isn't a distortion pedal? You mean this OCD pedal? The one that says overdrive/distortion right there on the outside of the box? Tim O says, hey Robert, great vid as usual. Okay, after trying to find an answer and who to ask, I have selected you, my friend. Okay, first off, sorry about the caps anyway. I am curious about where you should have your amp placed in your room. In my case, I play in the basement. My amp is on an end table in the corner, but it sounds great, but just doesn't sound how it does in my local guitar shop. I play a Marshall DSL 40. Any info would be great. Thanks, Tim from Ontario, Canada. Thank you, Tim, very much for your question. The environment that you're playing in can make all the difference in the world. In a guitar shop is usually you got wooden floors or carpeted floors or something like that, depending on what, just depending on, not to mention tons and tons and tons of guitars and all kinds of other stuff, hanging on what are usually pegboard walls or slat wall or drywall or something, of that nature. In a basement, I'm assuming in an unfinished basement, whereas, basically you got a concrete floor and, concrete block walls all the way around you. Those surfaces are made to bounce sound off of them like a like a pinball machine. So there's the answer to your question. There really is no right or wrong answer. It's you might want to think more about some kind of acoustic treatments in the room that you're playing in that will help dampen it. And the idea here is control the sound a little bit, not kill it. So you might look into that, and hopefully that will steer you in the right direction. Good luck. Twan Thunes says, that clean tone is the worst I've heard in a long time. That guitar sounds horrible coil tapped. So bad, in fact, I think it may be broken. Well, the guitar in question that you're talking about was once again, my beloved music band Majesty, which, the clean sound that you heard, there was no coil tapping at all. What you actually heard is actually called a piezo pickup, which is made to sound like an acoustic guitar. And for the record, the piezo pickup on the Majesty is probably the best piezo pickup I've ever heard. And I went back and listened to that video, by the way, and it sounds just fine. Your Mom Gay says, gotta learn how to play. Don't get salty. Not my fault you can't play. I can beat you in a playing comp any day. Okay. We're all being watched says, man has dungeon beer gut and hate heavy man vibes. Oh, the interwebs. Oh boy. Will Silly Guitars says, yeah, I do know, and I am also well aware that I stutter when I speak sometimes. Congratulations on pointing that out. You're very, very perceptive. So that's it. That's the last troll comment. I've actually got quite a few more, but I'm going to save those for another video here coming up down the road that I have planned. So moral of the story is, if you're going to troll this channel, you're going to get called out, and I'm going to make some money on it. And I'm going to laugh while I'm doing it. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Pertinent links down in the description. And don't forget your comments down below. Adios. We'll see you in the next video.